Hello there. Hello Jeffrey. Hello Santo. Nice to see you again. I'm just having a little warm up here. Just changed my strings on this bass and my groove line. So just kind of playing them in a little bit and also just checking the intonation as well. Especially for chords, intonation is super important. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to number 7 of the Pace of Benjamin live stream. Kind of just getting myself all warmed up, and I might even make a bit of a truss rod adjustment as well. Well, I actually have 2 truss rods in this base. I'm going to bring the action just a touch lower. I just put on some new strings, and they still got to settle in a bit, but I gotta just bring it down just a little bit, and yeah, on both sides. So yeah, this is just something that you just have to do as a bass player, is be able to adjust your instruments. So let's have a look here. Now this is the thing. This is the only bass that I have that has 2 truss rods, and it sometimes intimidates me a little bit because I'm just used to 1 truss rod. So so I'm like, okay, I'll just do equal turns. Let's see. So we want to just kind of tighten it a little. Just a touch. A little goes a long way, which is really good. I'm gonna loosen the A string a bit. Now I taught myself, with the advice of skilled luthiers and all that. I taught myself how to do my own adjustments and even setups on my basses, just because you kind of have to. You kind of have to know how to do this for many reasons. I think it's important to know how to personalize your instrument. I think it's really important to know how to do that, to get it adjusted and set up for how you play. Obviously, when you take it to a skilled luthier, repair person, they're gonna do a great job on it. But they're gonna do they're gonna have it at a certain standard, and I think it's a good way to kind of get an idea of where your starting point could be. But at the end of the day, you do also want to be able to know where it feels best for you. And so if you don't know how to do any setups on your instruments, I think it's worth discovering how to do that. There are many incredible videos on YouTube, articles, and it's not as crazy as it seems. That's better. So I just tweaked it just a little bit on both sides, and so the strings are just a touch lower, but it makes all the difference. It really does. There's still a nice amount of space for a little bit of resistance, which I like. Yeah, that feels good. I'll have to check the other bass as well at some point. But I always carry my tools with me. Screwdriver, the right Allen wrenches as well, for doing a bridge adjustment, truss rod adjustment. It's just something that you gotta know, that it's worth knowing, especially if you're out on the road and you need to make some adjustments. You're traveling internationally. there's going to be different weather, different humidities, different climates, and your instrument's going to react differently. And so, and you might not have access to a guitar repair person or a guitar tech, so you got to just do it yourself. That's the thing. You also might find as your this is the other thing too. When I was, I remember a few years ago, uh, I was in Europe for like a month and playing with Peter Erskine and also Monkestra. And over the course of those weeks in Europe, I was slightly increasing the action just a little bit, because you're playing every single day, you're playing shows and all that. You're getting what we call tour chops, where you're just with your instrument every single day, and so of course, like you're developing that stamina and that agility, which is it's a lot of fun. But I was just slightly increasing the action just a little bit, just to kind of account for all of that. And then there'll be some days where I'm like maybe feeling a little tired, so then I could bring it down just a little bit. Santa was asking, when you set up, do you prefer to do by feel? Yeah, I do. That because at the end of the day, that's what it's going to be. It's how to me, it's how it feels. That's how I'm going to really be able to play the way that I want to play. So it has to feel right. It can't just be necessarily by textbook. At the same time, you still want to understand the rules of, or just the basic just the basics of, okay, what the instrument needs to be able to accomplish. But within that, you also need to be able to personalize it for yourself. I remember years ago, what I did was, I remember, and I actually do this with every single instrument that I get when I first get it. I take the whole instrument apart. Like, I take all the hardware off, except for the electronics. I'll leave that in because that's a whole different thing. But anything like the bridge, the tuners, the neck, and all that, I'll take it off because I want to really understand how the instrument works. And every instrument is different. And also, this is a chance for me to, okay, let's put it back together, but let's then take the time to really get it to feel the way that I want it to feel. And like I said, every single instrument that I have is different. This one being the more, I guess, streamlined, or more of the sports car of my bass collection. This and my groove lines, but this one more so. This one is designed for really getting around. So I'll put the instruments back together, and then I'll take hours, go through each bridge saddle, and then compare them with each other when playing. And if it feels and sounds great, then I'll be like, okay, let's see how that is, because obviously it's still gonna keep settling in, right? So the next day, I'll come back and say, okay, how's the instrument feeling? If I need to do any adjustments, I'll do that. Some of my basses, so let me preface this by saying all of my basses I have are bolt-on basses. I don't have any neck-through instruments. I'm mainly a bolt-on guy because that's just what I am used to. I've only had bolt-on instruments. It's what I prefer. But also because you can take the neck off if you need to make any other adjustments or anything like that. So some of my instruments, I've had to put like a shim in the neck joint to kind of get the neck angle where it needs to be in order to to really feel the best, including this one here. Even though this is a handmade custom instrument, even after it was shipped to me, it still takes time to kind of just settle in. And so things are going to shift, things are going to move. And so I found that I did have to just put a very, literally like something that's no bigger than this, than like this, like underneath the neck, just to kind of just lift it up a little bit. And I did it more on this side to kind of just get the angle where it is. It really makes a difference, like even just such a tiny amount. It really makes a huge difference. So yeah, it's to answer your question, yeah, I do it by feel. That's how it is. But at the same time, I understand that, like, okay, yeah, obviously you don't want fret buzzing or anything. You don't want to do anything that is going to, do any damage to the instrument as well. But at the same time, these instruments, they're designed to be adjusted and to be personalized. So yeah, that's how it is. Yeah, it's just got the right amount of attack and feel in both hands. I'm sure over the course of the day it will adjust. It'll kind of change, but we can always figure that out. So if you're just joining on, welcome. 7 weeks of live streaming. This has been really fun. This is just a nice bass nerd fest hour and a bit. And it's really cool to just sit down here and do this. And whoever jumps on, and it's great to connect with you. If you have any questions or anything about bass playing, all right, anything that you've been thinking of, and like, hey, I'd like to ask a bass player that might know something about this, please drop it down in the chat, and I'll do my best. But this is, this is the time to ask your nerdy bass questions, because I'm all about that. I'm all about getting real nerdy and just deep about this instrument, because it's so cool, this instrument, isn't it? Right? It's just such a wonderful, amazing thing. How it works and all that, and just how in 70 years this instrument has just really just gone to so many places, and the amount of players that have come and just utilized this tool to make incredible music, and that's what I'm all about. I would like to point out, because obviously there are some time changes happening in various parts of the world. Obviously, it's going to be a little different for some of you who are in different time zones. So obviously, I always go off of Pacific Standard Time, because that's just one of the time zones that I'm kind of used to, and I've been able to figure out that a lot of people are able to use that as a kind of guide to the time zone where you are geographically. So you might notice that, okay, Pacific Standard Time, it used to be 1:30, it's now 2:30. All right, so, and it's going to continue to change, I think, once more. So just keep an eye out on that when you're jumping on here. Just make sure you look at the times properly. And I'll do my best to make sure that I put the right time as well. So that's just how it is. I'm still kind of getting my fingers going. But here's a little warm up that I like to do, and you probably noticed it if you've seen the Jaco Pastorius modern electric bass video, the one with Jerry Jamot interviewing the whole time. I mean, it's to me that's like one of the greatest just electric bass resources out there. I've been seeing that video for almost 25 years now, and every time I watch it, there's always something new that I get. But this my favorite warm-up from that I use every single day, and that has helped me as a player for many things, but this is something that I do with my students, is a great gotten back up to the octave. So essentially what I'm doing is I'm playing, they're arpeggios, right? I'm starting on minor, then going to major, minor, major. You get the idea. I'm moving up in half steps. The first one is a minor 11 arpeggio. So hitting the root, minor third, 5, minor 7, 9, and the 11, right? This is also really good for practicing like the chord tones of just chords, and getting the color tones as well. There we go. And then for the I'm doing the same thing, essentially the same type of intervals for the major, but it's going to be a Lydian, right? Up to the sharp 11, right? So root, major third, 5, major 7, 9. But it's a really good shape, especially down here, because obviously it's wider here, so it's going to be quite a stretch, right? The other thing too that is really great about this exercise is that if you're trying to practice legato technique, which is something that I use quite a lot, is that this is really good for doing that, especially getting your index and your pinky to really work, develop the strength. So if you know, so I'll play it real slowly just so you can have a look. And if you have your bass with you, you should definitely try this out with me. So if we start with our third finger on the root, I'm going to play G minor 11, right? The root, minor third, and then I'm going to stretch to the fifth. So, but if you noticed, I only plucked 2 notes, even though I'm playing 3 notes there. I'm playing a G minor triad. I did a hammer on for the 5th, right? And then I go to the minor 7th after the 5th. I pluck the minor 7th. I pluck the 9th, and then I hammer on for the 11th. Right? And then when I'm coming back down, I do like a pull off, right, with my pinky to go back down to the 9th. And then I kind of do a similar thing when I'm playing the 5th to go down to the minor 3rd. That's why it's pretty tricky, but it's a really good exercise. I'll play it real slow, the whole thing, and just have a look at both of my my hands. All right, I'll play up here because that might be a better camera angle. So. You get the idea, right? It's even harder on the 6th string because I'm playing it the way that I would play it on a 4-string bass. But because, and this is why this is really good practice for those of you who, maybe just starting out on the 6-string bass, doing this exercise to try and not get the other strings, the C string and the B string, to essentially ring. You know what I mean? Yes, it's definitely a little more work just because, wider neck, more strings. But once you get it, and it actually is, it's doing it slower. Sure, do that first to get the muscle memory, to get it under your fingers first, right? But then once you bring it up to speed, it actually kind of just plays itself. Let me have a little more coffee and then maybe I might be able to blaze through it more. Who we got here? Oh, that's my dad saying kia ora, which means hello, and also to acknowledge as well in the Te Reo Māori language. And then someone is asking, regarding the bass neck shims, is it important for the neck to still have full contact with the bass body? All right, so this is the thing too. I think there's going to be there would be an argument about something like that. No, it has to be full contact. This is the thing. And please understand that this is my opinion and my experience with this, okay? I am not a bass builder. I'm not a bass luthier. I am a bass player, all right? But as the person who has to play the instrument, I'm going to notice anything to do with tone and sound and the way it feels, right? So with something that is this thin, all right, this is all, I don't use anything that is thicker than this. Because like I said earlier, it's something like this as a shim makes all the difference. It really does. It's crazy. You would think, it's going to be nothing. But when the neck is bolted into the neck joint, all right, the screws and all, I mean, it's compressed really tight, okay? So, and this is the other thing, with the neck shim, it's not, first of all, I'm not going to be using something that is this big. It's literally going to be maybe like a small, like square, depending on where I need to put the shim, right? It might be something that thin, all right? And so at the end of the day, there is still going to be a lot of contact, all right? The neck is still going to have a lot of contact with the bass body, right? And this is the thing, is that I haven't noticed a difference, and I did an experiment. I with this bass in particular, I put the neck on with no shims whatsoever, and I played it, and I was like, okay, sounds good, but it wasn't where it felt good. I put the shims where it needed to be. I didn't notice a difference in tone or sustain. All right. And this bass sustains beautifully. Like, it just sings. All right. And that's, little, kind of cardboard, like thin paper, like cardboard shims just put in there. And but as my buddy Nick Granville was saying here, who's an incredible guitar player, and he also knows quite a bit about guitar setups and all that. Yeah, neck angle is important, not Beck angle. Like Jeff Beck angle, or maybe Beck the singer. But it is definitely important for sure. You want to get the strings to vibrate properly. The other thing you want to take into consideration, and this is something that I don't do personally because I'm not skilled or qualified to do this, but you want to make sure that your frets are dressed and properly have been filed. And this is something that you just need to do from time to time. Depends how much you use your instrument. All right, my groove line bass, I've had about 3 refrets done on that, and I've had that bass for 11 years. That's because obviously it's my main instrument. I've used it on so many gigs, so of course the strings are going to wear down the frets, right? I would have the frets filed and dressed. Ibanez would do that for me. But it gets to a point where they've been filed down so much that you just have to put new frets. And so that was when I started using jumbo frets. I was like, what if we use jumbo frets? I mean, I don't really know anything about frets, but jumbo frets might be cool. And so they put on the first refret, they put jumbo frets on, and I was like, actually, this is kind of cool. So that bass and this bass, they both have jumbo frets on there. At the end of the day, now this is the other thing, as a bass player, when you are playing in the mix of a band, an ensemble, or recording session, these little nuances are not going to make the biggest difference because things are going to get mixed, right? Things are going to get compressed. Also, depending on how great the sound person is, you might not even be in the mix as well. So there's also that. What's going on in the chat here? My dad is asking, question about a rock bass player, Roger Glover. The best? Question mark. Check out his bass players on Kentucky Woman. So yeah, right. Look, he's definitely one of the best for sure. And for those of you who don't know who Roger Glover is, he was one of the bass players from the band Deep Purple. And so my dad is recommending check out Kentucky Woman, which I definitely recommend as well. It has some pretty good bass work there. And Nick Grant with the Jeff Beck angle is the most important. Exactly, Especially, you're going to use the whammy bar and all that. There's probably some special angle. I bet you there's some secret neck angle that he had on his guitars, And yeah, the neck angle also means the bridge can be in the right place to allow the strings to vibrate properly. Absolutely. And get the top of the instrument to resonate like it should. Absolutely. All of this, if the bridge is too low, you have to lower the saddles, which ruins tone, so to speak. And that's the thing where also there can be an argument as well. And there is, because I've seen it just in various YouTube comments and Reddit forums about just low action. Look, my whole thing, this would be my words of advice for anything like that. Is that you need to have the instrument to feel good for you, all right? Everyone physically is built different. we all have different grips, different strengths, um, and so each instrument, it's not necessarily going to be a one size fits all. There's going to be some subtleties where, like, okay, yeah, maybe that can be a little lower, a little higher. It's just like the way that a drummer might set up their drum kit. You have a basic idea of how the drums are set up, but there are some drummers who might have their snare drum tilted a little forward or tilted a little back. You know, some might have their cymbals. You get the idea, right? Um, Nick say, "What pick do you use?" Actually, because it's the only pick that I do have, or I got a bunch of them lying around here, but it's just the pick that came with the straps that I use, Atmos straps. And, you know, I must give a shout out. And I know Nick also uses Atmos straps as well. The thickness of this pick, I have no idea. I really don't know. All I know is that it's a pick and it works. But I must give a shout out to Atmos. These beautiful handmade vintage style straps. Custom handmade from the South Island of New Zealand. But he ships globally as well and has many different designs, really cool designs. And I really enjoy these beautiful designs. They're really fun. And so if you want a really cool vintage style strap for your instrument, check out the Atmos. You know, that's what it is. You know, now Nick is just trolling me now because he's go on, strum the bass, all right? You know, because I would come onto his live streams and I would troll him. So he's just like giving me payback right here. I need to get my pick playing up to speed as well, because it's a very useful tool. And of course, many great bass players. Obviously, Carol Kay being one of the great bass pick players. I know I'm going to miss out a lot of people who play picks, so just go easy on me. Anthony Jackson, of course. I'm just laughing at Nick here. He's it's just pretty funny. Who else? Bobby Vega, man. Like, I mean, that is one funky dude on who uses a pick on the bass. And of course, there's one dude here. Ew, I hate picked bass. There always has to be one, right? There's always one. But, again, my thing is, like, if it can be done, it's and is useful, why not? Obviously, I barely use a pick, so that's just what it is. Although, when I play a guitar, I will use a guitar pick because, just strumming, And Peter Vela, hey Peter, how you doing? Do you have any chord exercises, PDFs, or book? Well, I will tell you this, okay? And this actually is a very good time to kind of just take a moment here. So, yes, first of all, yes, I do. I actually have a whole comprehensive video course that is just all about chords and with chord exercises. It's called Bass Chords: The Ultimate Guide, because it is pretty ultimate. There's like over 100 different chord voicings that you can learn, which is really cool. You don't need to have a 6-string bass to do it. So it's 4-string friendly. Of course, there is a section on there just for the cats that play 5 and 6-string basses. But it does come with a PDF handout that has all the chord diagrams in it, which is really handy. I also talk about, and explore techniques on how you can, play bass chords. So obviously, if you're new to playing chords, how to get, just how to get like your picking hand to really have a nice economy of motion, and to ensure that each voice in your chords are very balanced with each other. As well as some extended techniques as well. So the thing that I love to do, the arpeggiated chords. And even a bit of, tapping, not the kind of, not the Eddie Van Halen thing, because there are plenty of videos on that, on how to do that. But something like if you were to do... things like that to just kind of get some extra color and sound, just to almost give a little piano-like kind of approach. That's something that I like to do quite a lot. As well as, I show you how you can apply bass chords in just about any kind of musical situation, and even give you examples of, how I've used it. Which has been on many different applications, different recordings, different gigs. And you can get this course. There should be a description box in this whole window that you're watching right here. And it's going to be, so if you have a look in there, there should be a link to it. Or you can go to basswithbenjamin.com. That's how you can access that course. All right. Like I said, it's a fully comprehensive course. You really take your time going through it. You'll learn how to do a lot of chords, and just be able to use that as a very useful tool to really just level up your bass playing. I have a bunch of other courses as well. There's a basic theory course. There is a beginner bass course. So for those of you who are watching this and you're wanting to learn how to play the bass guitar, that is a perfect course to do that. So I think I've done a lot of talking here. I'm just going to do some playing, But let's see who else is here. No worries, Peter. I hope that's helpful. Ox Bass is saying, are you using raw bass tone or pedals right now? I'm using both. So I am using bass pedals. You can see them all here, actually. And what pickup configuration did you play that lick just now? It was probably just the neck pickup, I think. Will you consider doing bass? Absolutely. Yes. If you need to get in touch with me, you can just send me a DM on my social medias, or send me an email through my website. I'm gonna do some playing. If you've been joining on, welcome. Bass with Benjamin live stream. So this is what I've been doing every week. Is I've been pulling out some tunes from the gig archive. Just from gigs, tunes from gigs over the years that I've played with various people, and I got 2 tunes here that I'm going to play along to, or attempt to play, because these are tunes I haven't played in a very long time. This first one here I'm going to play, it's actually a John Beasley tune, and this is something that we played a lot in Monkestra, but this version here is a live recording from a trio gig that I did with John on Fender Rhodes and Terry on Gully on drums. Incredible drummer. And so this one is called Sam Rivers, and it's pretty wild. See if you can see where beat one is in this tune. So good luck. Good luck to me as well, who has to play it. All right, let's see. Oh, that's hilarious. Y'all can't hear the backing track? Oh my god. You know what? I knew this was going to happen at some point. You're like, clean bass tone. I knew it was going to happen at some point. Okay, yeah, I know why. All right. Sorry, I apologize, yo. All right. Yeah, that's what you got to do is, again, I'm just a player. And the tech part, all right, multi-output. Okay, output, input. All right, the live. Okay, can y'all tell me if you can hear this, please? 1, 2, 3. That man, cause that first time I was playing through it, man, that was like feeling good. I could hear the track in my ears, and I was just like, "Ooh, it's good." Then I look here, and it's like, "Yeah, we can't hear that." Typical, but pretty funny. That will actually make for some good content. I'm gonna play one last tune, and then I think we'll probably wrap it up for this week. But this next one is a tune that I recorded with Peter Erskine in our band called Dr. And this was from the first record that I did with Dr. Which was almost 10 years ago now, which is crazy. And we recorded this at Sweetwater. And I'll say that, it was just, that was one of my biggest life-changing career moments, was getting to play with Peter Erskine. This was someone that I had listened to a lot growing up. Obviously, I'm a huge Weather Report fan, thanks to my dad, who's also a huge Weather Report fan. But just Peter's drumming is just, and musicianship is just some of the best that there has ever been. And so I'm very thankful for Peter for giving me the opportunity to play with them, and even giving me a platform to express myself, musically. And also, we became really great friends, and it's just, he's just such an amazing mentor and a musician to me. So, this is a tune that, again, John Beasley wrote, and I'm very thankful to John for recommending me to Peter. And also for having me in the Monkestra as well. John is one of the greatest musicians, arrangers, composers ever. And so, yeah, this is a tune that he wrote back in the early 90s that was originally featured on his album called Cauldron, and it had John Patitucci on bass. But we did a version of this tune on Second Opinion, which is the name of the first record I played on with Dr. And so this one is called 1111. And please let me know if you can hear the track as well. I know it works, but I just want to make sure that it actually does. So here we go, 1111. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody. That's it for this week of the live stream. But I want to thank you all for jumping on here and just having a lot of fun. I love your questions and your comments. And it's just been great to see a lot of you. I'll be doing this again next week. So come and join me again. This has been so far a weekly thing. So just jump on and ask away your nerdy bass questions. I'm all about it. All right. If I didn't get to your question today, save it for next time. I'll definitely get to it. That's usually what happens is at the end, sometimes all the questions come pouring in. But again, thank you so much. This has been a lot of fun. Appreciate you tuning in. Be safe out there. Okay. Have a great rest of the week. All right. And your weekend. Yeah, the weekend is almost here. So take care, everybody. See you soon. See ya.